I can give a few tips to those of you who are trying to pivot into DevOps. If that's what you want to do, then the formula, in my opinion, for getting into DevOps is one, learning one programming language. Most job descriptions, they list out either Python, Bash scripting, JSON, YAML, and understand basic networking fundamentals like TCP/IP, OSI model, how networks communicate with one another, and understand one cloud service provider. I think those three things together, those things make a DevOps engineer. But the challenge with job titles like DevOps is very broad. What do you mean by DevOps? Like, companies, the responsibilities of a DevOps engineer vary. Someone can have a DevOps engineer title, but all they can do is the ops side of things. But they're titled DevOps engineer, right? Some folks are DevOps engineers, but they're doing everything listed in the job description, but they're doing more. They're doing security work, the DevSecOps side of things. They're doing development, the security, and the operations, but their title is DevOps engineer. So,
interesting.
I think if someone would want to get into that space, I'd recommend get your networking fundamentals right, pick up programming language, and understand understand one cloud service provider. You don't need to be an expert, but just associate level understanding of one cloud service provider. This could be GCP, Google Cloud, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, AWS. Those are the main hot ones. But I recommend that, and also understand that if you want to get into DevOps, I'm relatively new to it, but I'd say is there's a lot of freaking tools to learn. There's a lot of tools, and not just tools that you have to know one by one, but tools that you have to know how they all work together. For example, understanding how to use an infrastructure as code tool, like Terraform or Ansible, and GitLab, and using GitLab. So learn how to use GitLab, Terraform, and Ansible together, and Docker. Containerization. You're learning one operating system. You gotta learn. Yeah, I forgot to mention that you gotta learn one operating system. So either Windows or Linux, most likely Linux.
Most likely,
and, and you'd have to learn Docker, containerization, and and also how to carry out container management using Kubernetes. And those are a lot of tools I just listed. And
it's a lot of tools. It really is a lot of tools, but it's like you have to know how to, like you said, just piece them together, like know when to use X, Y, and Z, right? So you can just sort of integrate them together.
Right. And I'd say, I do DevOps about 20% of my time, 30% of my time. But I'd say that as if I were to do a full time, I'd be under a lot more pressure because of how much the learning that comes with that field. And I give my hat off to those of you who are full-time DevOps engineers, because that's a lot of learning, a lot of tools, and with tech evolving at a rapid pace, it's a lot to learn. Because if you look at some of these job descriptions, obviously you don't need to have all the skills, but some of these job descriptions are like a laundry list. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of tools.
Absolutely.